Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Now, we cannot do complete justice to this today, but we can at least begin. We are talking, of course, about Climate Gate, otherwise known as Green Gate, Gore Gate, Malthus Gate, Environmental Gate. This is an amazing treasure trove of emails which have been assembled apparently by the quackademics and charlatans over at the University of East Anglia in Britain. University of East Anglia Climate Research Unit, CRU, known as the Hadley unit over there. And this, of course, is an entity, it's supported by the British government, but they also have other private funders. They've gotten money from Royal Dutch Shell. They've gotten money from BP. They've gotten money from all sorts of other people. Anyway, the CRU, the Hadley Climate Research Unit at the University of East Anglia, people there had been fearing that there would be an action against them under the new British Freedom of Information Act. It's a weaker version of the U.S. long-standing Freedom of Information Act that would force them to divulge and disgorge their international correspondence, mainly in the framework of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change of the United Nations, right? The UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and especially their fourth report of 2007, the IPCC of the UN, that has been used to beat people over the head, to tell them you're a yahoo, you're an illiterate, you're a bumpkin, a cit, you don't know anything, because the debate is over, says Al Gore, and to enforce it, Al Gore, of course, will not debate anybody on this. So now some unknown benefactor of humanity has come along and filched these emails from their files. He's really gotten his hands on the massive stuff that they would have had to put across. And, of course, in the course of these emails, they're actively discussing how they're going to engage in obstruction of justice. They're going to delete emails. They're going to fake them. They're going to change the dates on them. They're going to engage in all manner of cover-up behavior, shredding, deleting, what have you. But it's all come out now. And, of course, it's very timely. Divine Providence, I think, has had a hand in this, because this anonymous benefactor or benefactors of humanity have put this out just before about 2 weeks from this infamous gathering in Copenhagen, the mad ghouls of the radical environmentalist movement, the crackpots, the charlatans, and quackademics from around the world are going to be gathering there. I'm reminded, of course, of the UN Food Conference in Rome back in November of 1974, a similar kind of event from which I was personally ejected by the UN bureaucracy. But they're all coming together and said, they meet under the cloud of this event. Now, the Obama White House has not yet responded in any detail to these leaks, to this hacking, if you will. But we're told that Obama is now likely to go to Copenhagen. Barkey is going to go to Copenhagen. The story is he's going to be in Copenhagen on December 9th, and then he will go on to Oslo to collect his Nobel Peace Prize. So another debacle, another catastrophic failure for Obama, the megalomaniac who obviously believes that his hypnotic smile and his chatter, right, his utopian and messianic verbiage is going to melt the hearts of the obdurate delegates. Above all, India, China. Here's one thing where the Indian government has got it right. They don't want to be strangled by these carbon limits. But let's just go back. We've got to think about what can be done about this. There's a whole bunch of scientists. We've got Michael Mann, who is the head of the CRU there at East Anglia. I'm sorry, that guy's name is Jones. You've got Michael Mann, director of the Pennsylvania State University Earth Systems Center, and they talk about how they've got to use data protection to hide this information. They don't want to have it come out. And they also say that they are using special statistical techniques to hide the decline in temperatures in certain parts of the world. Some other things that they do. There's a threat of violence. Hey, how about this? Violence, I think it's an official of the U.S. National Oceanics and Atmospherics Administration who says he wants to beat up a rival scientist. This is Ben Santer, who says, I'm really sorry that you have to go through all this stuff, Phil. Phil would be the guy at East Anglia. Next time I see Pat Michaels at a scientific meeting, I'll be tempted to beat the crap out of him. Very tempted. So violence being talked about in these emails among the quackademics and the charlatans. They talk about their common cause. They talk about the idea that they have peer-reviewed journals, learned journals in the area of climate science or climate studies, which are open to skepticism and the denial of the lunatic anthropogenic global warming with carbon demonization. Some people don't want that. So what they say is we're going to try to redefine what a learned journal is so that we can say a learned journal is one that supports global warming, and anything that's against global warming and this carbon swindle is not a learned journal. They also say that they're going to try to lean on the editorial boards of these learned journals, to deny them papers from other people, to try to pressure them not to publish other views. We should encourage our colleagues in the climate research community to no longer submit to or cite papers in the learned journal we don't like. So they're falsifying information. They're engaging in obstruction of justice. They're deleting emails. There's crime here. There's fraud here. Notice they also say, though, that they're immune, that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they say, is immune from the Freedom of Information Act of the United States and other countries, and that is an absolute monstrosity. The U.S. press not paying much attention to this. We do have John Christie of the University of Alabama at Huntsville. He comes under attack in these emails because he doesn't agree with everything in the IPCC report. So John Christie, University of Alabama, it's disconcerting to realize that legislative actions this nation is preparing to take, which will cost trillions of dollars, are based upon a view of climate that has not been completely scientifically tested. And, of course, the Wall Street Journal then includes a guy, boy, this is, Leibniz is rolling over in his grave. The Leibniz Institute of Marine Science in Germany, the guy says, I can't believe that there's a mafia that's falsifying results and faking the experiments. But that's exactly what they're doing. Now, what we need out of this is, well, you can see that the quackademics and charlatans engage in neo-McCarthyite behavior, threats of violence, character assassination, freezing out learned journals, defamation, you name it. They're neo-McCarthyites. What they need is a good dose of their own medicine. We've got to have a probe, right? We give you a special prosecutor, and I'll tell you in a minute who should be on the target list of that. Back in a minute.